Olympic University was aimed at building a team of professional managers in sports for the Olympic and Paralympic Games in Sochi. The construction of the university has recently started and it is already running its educational programs. The project of establishing a professional sports management school is topical for the world community, as it offers considerable opportunities of applied nature for any country involved in sport. More than 600 people, mainly the OR Committee 2014 staff, are involved in the preparation of the Games 2014. In cooperation with the Russian Olympic Committee, the university organized a seminar about the interaction between the stakeholders in the areas of sports and business. The seminar was a part of the meeting of the National Olympic Committee's leaders and the ministers for sports of the CIS countries, Baltics and Eastern Europe. The university is aimed at investigating the history and current issues of the Olympic and Paralympic movement, physical culture and sports, and also exploring Olympic legacies and translating the Olympic knowledge into educational products. The university graduates will be in high demand in Russian and international Olympic organizations, government and municipal management structures, various sport federations and clubs, mass media, marketing, and wider sport industries. The university is developing its international links in education, involving Russian and international trainers and students via special programs with the National Olympic Committees and the educational initiatives in the developing countries. A comprehensive training program of sport managers will start a year before the Olympic Games in Sochi. Its major content is now being developed by a team of the leading overseas and internal experts in line with the concept approved by the International Olympic Committee. The educational programs are mostly catering for the needs of prospective students with relevant management experience. Famous Russian and international experts took part in this seminar to share their knowledge and experience with the participants. The seminar was practice-oriented and incorporated a study tour to the Olympic venues in Sochi. A special training was organized for the Olympstroy staff, focusing on maintenance and operational service of the Olympic sport venues. The leaders of the sport federations and the biggest sport venues in Russia, as well as the experts in the area of technical supply for sport competitions who have work experience for the winter and summer games, were invited as trainers for the seminar. The participants investigated some venues and places in the city and could give their recommendations for their better accessibility and universal design. The first international training program of the university was the building of the Brand and Communications in Sport course, developed in partnership with John Tibbs, one of the most authoritative marketing experts. The Olympic Hospitality Educational Program has been drawn up in conjunction with city administration at the request of the Sochi 2014 Organizing Committee. More than 150 people have taken part in the program: heads of tourism and hospitality facilities, city administration staff, and educators of higher education institutions. The aim of the program is to develop the competencies necessary to ensure that guests are welcomed in accordance with Olympic standards. The plan is to prepare instructors who, in the future, will be able to pass on that knowledge to their co-workers. A conference on the first results of the educational program took place in May 2012. It concluded a ceremony where certificates were presented to the students who had successfully completed the course. The international links of the university involve foreign experts and trainers, international sport federations, leading educational and research centers. The partnership projects provide opportunities for joint researches, publishing activities, international forums, and other types of cooperation. A particular emphasis is made on the cooperation with the national Olympic committees and on the training of the qualified specialists for the sport infrastructure.
In November 2011, Sochi hosted the 40th General Assembly of the European Olympic Committees, an event bringing together the heads of the national Olympic committees of 49 European countries. The delegates to the assembly visited the university's special exhibition stand, which featured a model of the future building. Representatives of the university met the assembly's delegates and guests at the stand. Professor Lev Belousov, Chief Executive Officer of the Russian International Olympic University, gave a speech on the university's development strategy at the suggestion of the Executive Committee of the General Assembly. This invitation is evidence of the interest shown by the leaders of the European Olympic movement in the project to create a radically new educational establishment in the field of sports management. UK Ambassador Tim Barrow visited the Russian International Olympic University construction site as part of the program for his visit to Sochi and met the university's senior management. During the meeting, they discussed some key issues of humanitarian cooperation with the aim of strengthening the partnership between the two countries in training staff for the Russian and international sports industry.
The success of the Olympic Games in Sochi will depend on the all public sector organizations and services. The university and the city administration signed an agreement to specify joint activities in terms of large-scale socio-cultural and infrastructural transformations. Today, the two partners are working to train the management staff, carry out scientific researches, introduce innovations in the educational systems of the city. The RIO's publishing program is being developed in at least two directions: publishing books and publishing the university's scientific popular magazine. The RIO library series is planned to publish memoirs, archive materials, research into the history of Olympism and the best Russian and overseas textbooks in sports education. The series will in the first place introduce the first Russian Olympic memoirs publication by Pierre de Coubertin.
Heads of higher education institutions and scientific centers in Sochi, educators and scientists, representatives of business communities and public organizations were invited to a presentation of the book Olympic Memoirs by Pierre de Coubertin. Olympic Memoirs is a vivid account of the rebirth of the Olympic Games. A new educational program, a one-year Master of Sport Administration, was presented during the London 2012 Summer Olympic Games. The course was developed by leading Russian and foreign experts in the field of sports management. Professor Belousov also spoke about the ongoing construction of the campus in Sochi. The buildings are being constructed using the most advanced technologies, and they fully meet the BREEAM environmental standards and also the requirements of the barrier-free environment. The campus opens its doors in autumn 2013, and the first students will graduate in summer 2014. The Master of Sport Administration program will be the central element in the university's educational structure. Its aim is to prepare a new generation of managers for the Russian and international sports industry.
Today, the university is building a foundation for its rapid and active development in all directions of its activity. It is absolutely confident that in the near future it will be a demanded and indispensable part of the international educational infrastructure and will be able to fulfill its mission to train sport professionals of the new generation. This target is achievable and worthy of the 21st century.